Gerard, sitting right next to me, the president of the United Steelworkers Union, one of my heroes, one of the most aggressive progressives out there. You're a good man, and doing great work. The United Steelworkers Union is one of the maybe it's because you guys are steelworkers. One of the unions that has never been afraid to speak out and tell the truth.
Well, I think you're right about that. It's the kind of work that our members do. They work as in our infancy with hot metal, and in hard, dirty, difficult jobs, and then we grew into the glass industry, into the tire and rubber industry, into the paper industry, and so all that is hard manual work, and people have to stand up for themselves. Yeah,
I saw it. My dad worked in a steel mill in Grand Rapids when I was born, in fact, and then later got a job in a tool and die shop and worked there for 40 years. But back then, in the steel mills, they were running everything over asbestos rollers, and he died of mesothelioma from that. I mean, it's tough work, and it's a tough life. And back then, things were made in America. We actually had tax policies, tariffs that kept things in the United States. We had I was noticing Canada. You're Canadian originally. Canada has, in many of the provinces, have literally on the books laws that say government money can only be used to buy things manufactured in Canada.
That's right.
Why don't
And not only that, we got health care too.
Yeah, in Canada. And I'm on the plane yesterday, flying out here, and I'm reading. I think it's the current issue of Time. This article about the windmills, the windmill industry, and how they got $1 billion. This one company got $1 billion from the stimulus bill to build windmills. And I'm thinking, this is great. I'm reading along, and I discovered the company is based in Spain. And they're making the stuff in Spain and bringing it over here. What do we have to do to bring our jobs back to America?
I think what we've got to do is have the courage to put that in the legislation and to apply it. There actually is Buy America and Buy American, two different provisions that are in law, but they're never enforced. And so, example, we had a big fight, if you remember, during the stimulus. The steelworkers fought to have Buy America as part of the stimulus bill.
Right, and the Republicans stripped it out.
They tried to strip it out. We got a little bit in at the last minute. But let me give you a quick example. If the Department of Defense was to say that they're going to be 20% renewable energy on all their bases, and said that they're going to use taxpayer dollars to convert to renewable energy in all their bases, and it would be made in America, we'd create tens of thousands of jobs in the solar industry, geothermal, and wind turbines, and we would build a supply chain. If we were to say that any stimulus dollars that are going to be for fixing railroads, fixing highways, fixing bridges are going to use domestically produced cement and steel, we'd put tens of thousands of people to work. I come back to a wind turbine. A wind turbine has 400 tons of steel in it, 8,000 parts. If you ever saw the bolts on a wind turbine, they're about that big and like that. We've got a company that wants to manufacture those. They can't get any startup money. The banks are saying, show us your startup money. DOE is saying, well, get some money from the banks. They're caught in a trap. But they would have 500 skilled tool and die workers in those shops if you could do that. We need the political will.
Yeah, and what's so incredible is almost the same month. I mean, it was within a few months of the time that the president's stimulus bill was passed. The Chinese also passed an $800 billion stimulus, and theirs said 100% made in China, right down to the very last part. And I think the DOE is a great place to start, as you suggested. I find it amazing that China is actually, and I'm not trying to do this as China bashing, it's just I find it ironic, they're the only country in the last 2 decades that has actually had a senior military official threaten us with a nuclear weapon. You know, that Chinese general who came out, and he never got slapped down for it, saying we could nuke the West Coast if it could. And we can't make a cruise missile without Chinese parts right now.
That's right.
And why not just say to the DoD, okay, you guys, you've got a third of the federal budget. 100% of everything you buy has to be made in the United States. Period. End of discussion.
We filed a very, very complicated petition with the U.S. trade ambassador. It's called a Section 301, 5,800 pages of evidence about how China was cheating on its renewable energy. We got criticized by Republicans in the Senate as being protectionist.
Right.
And when you talk about what China did in their stimulus bill, it affected our members directly. We had members that were making collars for wind turbines for GE. GE canceled that order and moved it to China because China told GE, unless you're making 80% of that in China, you can't sell in China. And they couldn't get to 80% without that collar. And so we lost jobs in Michigan so that GE could compete in China. And the Republicans were silent on it. Democrats spoke up. And you remember around the same time as that, President Obama tried to rescind the tax break for moving jobs offshore and give a tax break for bringing jobs back home. Unanimously rejected by the Republican.
That was one of the pieces. I thought that was one of the pieces that Pelosi got out of the House that died in the Senate.
That's right. That's right.
It's
Nancy got lots of stuff out of the House that died in the Senate.
She did a hell of a good job.
If they would have passed the legislation that she passed as Speaker, we'd have had a Democratic majority again. It's the Senate that stabbed her.
And not only that, we'd have an economy that's working again.
It's working. You got it. I'm with you on that.
It's just so straightforward. This whole Buy America, Build in America, Donald Trump. Let me. I don't mean to make you wince here, Leo, but when Donald Trump first came out with his candidacy for presidency, before he went off the crazy train with the birther stuff, his thing was put a 25% tax on everything coming in from China. And I'm getting calls on my radio show from Republicans and Democrats who are saying, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because it's the Ross Perot vote. He got 20% of the vote. That crazy old coot with the big ears and the charts and graphs, he was right. And I've been saying for years on this, for the 9 years I've been doing this program, I have been consistently saying, whichever party first says we're going to go back to the pre-Reagan. We had tariffs in this country from Alexander Hamilton, 1791, during the George Washington administration, until Reagan started dismantling them. And whoever goes back to those pre-Reagan days is never going to lose another election.
I agree.
And how do we convince the people in the Democratic Party to do it? I mean, Tim Pawlenty in the debate was talking about fair trade.
I winced when you said Donald Trump, but I'm actually wincing even more inside because the last president that actually did anything about that was Ronald Reagan. I don't want to talk about his other policies that were rotten, but he did the Plaza Accord on currency. He put voluntary restraints on Japanese automobiles and Japanese steel, and he said that America was only going to be able to trade if it traded by fair trade. And he was the last president to stand up for that. Now, President Obama, when I say he's the last president, I should say successfully. President Obama's tried, but he's been hamstrung by filibuster after filibuster, and now you've got these people that are more interested in just stupidest issues on earth rather than looking at jobs. We're now into the 6th month of the new House, and we don't have one jobs bill. The only jobs bill they got is cut taxes for the rich. If that worked, we'd have full employment.
Well, and that was the essence of Newt's contract with America. 6 out of those 10 things pointed back to one piece of legislation, which was cut taxes on the rich. It is insane. So in the minute we have left, Leo Gerard, what do we do?
Well, I think we've got to do the kind of stuff that's going on at Netroots. We've got to get our message out to people. The majority of America is on our side. If you poll any American on this issue, 75, 80% are on our side. What we need to do is take that grassroots knowledge that's out in real America and bring that to the Hill, bring that to the next election. I think the next election is going to see the Republicans get wiped out in the House by some of the stupid stuff they've done, and I'm going to work as hard as I can for that.
I sure hope the Democrats point it out so it becomes obvious, and I'd love to see the word protectionist become a positive thing again.
I tell people that my members elected me to be a protectionist, protect their jobs, protect their security, protect their standard of living, and I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of it.
And protect America. That's at the end of the day, it's protect America. It really is. Leo Gerard,
my pleasure. Thank you.
You're doing great work. Thanks so much for dropping by here. USW.org.
USW.org. Lots of stuff on that website.
There is. It's a great resource and a lot of great information. We'll be back with more. This is the Thom Hartmann Program, broadcasting live from Minneapolis from the Netroots Nation.